So part two. Anyways, so yeah, they're cloning. According to Brian too, I've been listening to his information on just the technology end of stuff. Um, and he says that this technology is specifically geared towards the cloned children for people who are not even born. He says they walk among you and I believe him. I totally believe him because I think I've seen a few. I was watching Project Veritas on Infowars. Um, let's see what else. Okay, so Project Veritas did a undercover interview. Some woman went in and she was talking about how her brother-in-law got into a snarl with a student, and so she went to this guy who is head of the union, and he was saying like how he would downplay the truth as to what really happened. So like for instance, if there was an altercation between a student and a teacher, and the student, there was blood involved and all that stuff, and he goes, what the teacher needs to do is come in and file a report with me. He goes, I'll backdate it. Basically his job was to find out the truth, protect the teacher, and then like downplay the truth. He had no problem if there was a student that, let's say he had bruises and the student doesn't make a report. He was like, well, if the kid doesn't make a report, if he hits the kid, he hits the kid. I mean, it's almost like this horrible abuse that teachers are doing within our public school system. And there's another journalist, I listened to her. She was talking to Alfred Weber about her run-ins with the public school system, and she was saying how she was, I think, at a fair at the school, and she was not too happy with things that were going on, and she had some flyer information and she was just distributing it out and stuff, and she gave it to the principal or something like that, and then finally she gets a phone call to go in and see the principal, and they were already classifying her as mentally ill. And she says, no, this is all documentation. I'm a well-trained journalist. I know what I'm talking about. It's my job. I guess she's certified in it. And she goes, they went ahead and they called DCF on her. And, she goes, this is just ludicrous, This is what's going on with this technology. She goes, all I did was just hand out some pamphlets and get some education going on. And this is also happening to another example is in the United Kingdom, how this one woman, she had a horrible implant placed in her vocal area, and she finally had it removed because she knew that they were strangling her. So she finally got this implant out of her throat. I think she did. Anyways, while she's still in labor, she had her friend asked the nurse, look, she's got this implant. We just need to make sure that she, we take precautions and stuff like that. Well, the nurse freaked out and she got the fucking doctors involved, other doctors involved. And instead of protecting the mother and child, they finally got like this sting operation going on within the hospital. And what happened was they basically kidnapped her baby. This is in the United Kingdom, and they deemed her already crazy. And she says, no, it's already been documented by another doctor. I have this implant in me, but they don't want to fucking hear that. So anyways, I don't know the status of what's going on. I think she's reunited with the child. She's got temporary custody, but the United Kingdom, see, this is what they're doing in the hospitals. They're fucking making all these fabrications and stuff. And this also ties into like this these military operations. Now you gotta watch out for these military operations where they say they're doing welfare checks, like Dark Sky. I know that's coming up here on a couple weeks. I think it's May 15th. Now, if you're in that county of Wisconsin, I would strongly suggest that you Google it for the information. They say that there might be some power outage stuff going on, and the military might be doing welfare checks and shit. If I was you and I was in that county, I would fucking skip town for a week. Because the drill's going to be going on for about 3 days. And that's when these people look for, I'm just going to say it, they look for food. Humans are food. Okay? That's what I would do, people. If I was in that county in Wisconsin, get the fuck out. Call in sick, do whatever, you know. Don't even talk to anybody, really. You know, if you have to, just make some bullshit story up and just get the fuck out for 3 days. A week would be nice. And then return home. Because what they're doing is they're data mining. And they're looking for who's who. Okay? And I know that from personal experience that my shit has been isolated by the medical industry. They definitely went after my fucking DNA. Okay. So yeah, it's called Dark Sky. I do mention it on a few previous videos. Those military operations, you really want to fucking red flag them. If your local news says, oh, you know, don't worry, we're going to have a power outage, it's okay. We might have, you know, the military here or reserves or something like that, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't even answer the fucking... Now, if you're not able to leave, don't answer the fucking door. If you see these guys in their fucking, you know, black cars and their fucking tanks, don't answer the fucking door. Don't. You're not there. Okay? They're scoping out. They're doing the scope outs for who's human. So, you know, let's see what else. So, yeah, I wanted to bring up the subject of the volcano. I think that's a directed energy weapon. The school industry is really... this Project Veritas that I saw doesn't surprise me, but they look for children. You need to get up to speed on Alex Collier's video. He does mention 1994. He goes, those are the Alpha Draconans. They look for food. Mostly deep underground military bases. Cloning is going on. REM cloning is going on. They steal psychic powers. They go after people with capabilities who are able to have... if you're empathic, if you're able to see auras, if you're able to decipher things, if you're good with light, color, and sound, they go after psychic powers. And what they do is they weaponize psychic powers. It's kind of like what this guy, Leader Technology, has mentioned. You have something, they steal it, and then they turn around and weaponize it. That is exactly what the fuck they've done. It doesn't matter if it's a widget. It's these grays They know who and what we are on a soul level. They know our DNA. We're multidimensional. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You know, being able to like fucking leave your body and go out in space and see the universe. Oh, that's amazing. Do your own thing. It's fucking nice. Being able to fly. Does anybody remember that? So, yeah, you don't need technology. You are the technology. I knew that shit when I was a kid. Anyways, it's just sad. I miss it. What else do I want to talk about? I see things slowly falling apart. The news is just crazy. But with this Project Veritas thing that I saw, it was an undercover thing, on how he would protect the teacher at all costs, and then just, you know, let the victim look guilty. Yeah, it's pretty bad. The public school systems, I've read some people blogging, and I think a lot of people are like, you know, we just got to get our kids out of school. I know that I have seen how these teachers, they look, and I'm not shitting you, they look for children who are gifted. They do. I know in my community there's a place for gifted children, and if your child, this is what I think, if your child has certain gifts, just keep it to yourself. Don't say a fucking thing. They look for fucking talent. They look for shit. Okay, their gold is DNA. Their gold is, you know, telekinesis. Are you able to, you know, move objects? They look for that shit. Anyways, I don't have much time left. I've been trying to increase my video stuff, but I don't know how. But always remember, if your local community says that they're doing quote unquote some drills, I would be highly on alert. Big time. Because those are your reptilians. They are looking for humans. And if shit hits the fan, yeah. Now this whole thing with the Maui thing, or the volcano, not Maui, the main island, I have a sneaking suspicion that might be Black Ops shaking the earthquake, because on the news they said 95 earthquakes. Okay, 95 earthquakes, people, that's a directed assault on the planet. I really don't think that the earth would do 95 earthquakes. I think the earth would just, you know, shake, rattle, and roll, do her thing, and get it over with. That's what I think the earth would do. You know, it's kind of like when you have the flu. You know, you got to get it out of your body. Okay, I don't feel good. You're done. But 95 earthquakes, I think that's a little extreme. That is like, to me, it's highly suspicious. And then they had the military presence there, of course. So, you know, when they do that shit, I have a feeling that they're looking for fucking humans. It's just, you know, it's like, you know, I'm kind of like waving my little flag here, you know. Heads up when you see those military people. They may say, oh yeah, we're here to help you. I would steer clear of them. Steer clear of any military people that say we're here to help you. They're not. They're data collectors.